Test.
Okay, this is the first time I have a hockey stick on my desk. As we go into tonight's meeting. So we're going to call the meeting to order, and it is 6:38 p.m. And I'll look to Councillor Wilson. Thank you, Councillor Wilson, to read the land acknowledgement.
Mike won't turn. Oh, there it is. Okay. The municipality of North Granville acknowledges that the municipality operates on the territory of the Anishinaabe. We recognize all First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples who now call North Granville their home. We respect and support the need for cultivating a strong relationship, and we commit to Indigenous-informed decision-making to foster the path towards reconciliation.
Thank you, Councillor Wilson. Just a few short opening remarks. Of course, Council colleagues, this time last week, we were on our way back from the Rural Ontario Municipalities Association Conference. As you'll recall, we had a number of productive discussions, including with the Deputy Premier and Minister of Health, among others. And these conversations were obviously very encouraging. You'll recall we also spoke at length with the Ministry of Sport in regards to the proposed multi-sport indoor dome that has been a project underway for some time now. So we want to thank staff, and I want to thank all of you, council colleagues, as well as our clerk for ensuring that our time in Toronto was very well spent. And we had the necessary conversations to advance priority files. The other area, of course, where we had some significant ministerial engagement was on access to internet and broadband. So subsequent to our return to the community, we did have the chance on Saturday to extend our congratulations to Tempo Drive Music Studio on their grand opening in their new space. As well, I would like to recognize that today is International Holocaust Remembrance Day. And certainly this is a very key day to remember, particularly as we see other developments unfold across the world and south of us in the United States. So certainly I encourage all of you to take a moment to recognize the day. I also was reminded by Councillor O'Sullivan that we have an important event happening in the community on Thursday, February 19th. It's called Her Heart Matters, an evening on women's heart health. This is being in part led, or the catalyst for this event was our Health, Wellness, and Active Transportation Committee. And of course, we have recognized the importance of women's heart health in previous years, but this year we have the opportunity to, in fact, convene a workshop and an information session. So I'll turn it over to Councillor Sullivan to say a bit more. And I know she also wants to talk about curling.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the Health, Wellness, Fitness, Active Transportation Advisory Committee is hosting this evening on February 19th on women's heart health. It specifically speaks to women heart health issues, but it is a free event and open to everyone. So men, women, people of all ages are more than welcome to come and learn all there is to know about heart health and how significant it affects women, in particularly women. So we're making it available to everyone to come and learn more. And the presenter is from the Heart Institute in Ottawa. So on to curling. We're locally proud of Haley Armstrong. She is the skip of the Ontario team that is currently competing at the Scotties. And Haley makes her home in Carleton Place, but she actually curls in the North Grenville Curling Club here in Kemptville every Monday evening. So we're cheering on Haley and Team Armstrong as they compete for the Scotties in the Scotties Tournament of Hearts in Mississauga right now. And she is currently 3-2. So she had a very good win this afternoon. I watched part of the game. So we'll cheer her on and wish her all the best.
Thank you, Councillor O'Sullivan. Some other items to note, of course, staff and council will be rolling out our municipal budget in the coming weeks. And we do plan to have 2 community engagement sessions, as well as a forum to hear from applicants for community grants. So we are looking to our clerk to make sure all those dates are publicized well in advance as we solidify our process for a municipal budget. I'd also like to remind council colleagues, as well as anyone watching or listening, that we're launching a survey as part of what is now being called our municipality's mobility master plan. This includes, as all of us will remember at the council table, our first ever active transportation master plan. And we know Mr. Finley and his team have been working hard on getting that up and running. It will, the survey will invite residents here in North Grenville to talk about where they'd like to see more sidewalks, multi-use pathways, controlled intersections, among many other things. So we look forward to the survey launching mid-February, and we do hope we have a robust response. It is North Grenville's first ever active transportation master plan, and it will matter in terms of investments in our roads and pathways. And finally, nominations are now open for the 2026 North Grenville Civic Awards. This program gives residents an opportunity to shine a spotlight on volunteers, coaches, organizers, and everyday champions who make North Grenville a wonderful place to live, and the deadline is February 26th. So with that, we'll move into tonight's agenda, and I'll look to a council colleague to move and second. Deputy Mayor, and a seconder, please. Councillor Sullivan, thank you. Any comments or questions in regards to the agenda? Seeing none, I'll call a vote. All in favor? Thank you. That carries. Next, we'll go to declarations of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. Are there any declarations of perceived or real financial benefit or loss arising from matters on the agenda this evening? Not seeing any declarations, we'll move on. So next, it's a real pleasure to welcome a very special guest this evening. In order to celebrate the contributions over the holiday period of Mr. Jack Stevens. So we received an email from Jack's mom, Ashley, over the holidays, and we were so excited to learn of the story. We really want to thank Jack's mom and parents and family for taking the time to really tell a wonderful story. So all of you know this, council, but for the record, we're gonna read it, and then we're gonna invite Ashley and Jack to say a few words if they would like. So Jack Stevens, who's currently a goalie for the Kemptville Royals U13 B1 team, was asked to play on the Hong Kong Greater Bay Lions U12 AA team in the Bell Capital Cup, which transpired over the holidays. When their goalie for the Hong Kong team was unable to come to the Bell Capital Cup, the general manager of the tournament reached out asking if Jack could be their goalie. We, of course, said Jack's mom, said yes, as it was such an incredible opportunity. With support of his coaching staff, teammates, and the executive of the Kemptville District Minor Hockey Association, Jack was loaned to the Hong Kong team for the tournament. After many practices, exhibition games, and being undefeated in the round robin and semis, the Greater Bay Lions had the opportunity to play for the gold medal at the Canadian Tire Centre. And guess what? They won. Watching this team work so hard was such a thrill, and seeing Jack, who's in the audience this evening, play in his element was even better. The smile on his face while facing very difficult teams from Ottawa, including Seaway, Cobras, Gloucester, and Cumberland, made every second worth it. Jack showed hard work, competitiveness, humility, and grace throughout. He took the Player of the Game award in one of his round-robin games and was the top goalie out of 18 in this AA tournament. He showed up for his team, and the coaches commented on his drive and positive mindset, even extending an invitation to come play with them again in Hong Kong. He represented the Kemptville Royals and North Grenville in such a positive way. So with that, I'd like to invite Ashley and Jack to come and sit at the table. And I'll look to council colleagues if you have any questions for Ashley and Jack on the experience of playing for this prestigious Hong Kong team. Go ahead, Deputy Mayor.
Yes. So, Jack, it's a great story. I'm curious, did you do anything special to prepare for that game where you were in goals for Hong Kong? What?
Not really. Just went with the flow and played my game. That
Yeah.
was like,
What do you normally do? Do you have a routine getting ready for any game?
I watch NHL goalies and have a nice meal before playing.
A nice meal. Great. Good work. Thank you. Congratulations.
A nice meal is very important. Any other questions, colleagues? Councillor Sullivan?
Sure, thank you, and congratulations.
And Jack's mom and family to gather together so we can take a photo and present Jack with an ambassador certificate for his sportsmanship and ability and willingness to step up for a team that literally is halfway across the globe. So let's do that, colleagues. I think Jack has practice, eh? He was running to practice. Okay, a game at 7? Oh, no. Oh, thank God. Okay. Is it here? Is the game here? Okay, we'll keep an eye on it. Okay, take care. Okay, sounds good. No problem. Okay, excellent. So I thank you, council colleagues, for your collaboration in recognizing Jack and that wonderful story. So now, in the spirit of hockey, we'd like to welcome Sean Nicholson, CEO of the Township of Edwardsburg Cardinal. Mr. Nicholson, lovely to see you. Thank you for coming. I know your council is busy as juggling many different events and commitments, so we really appreciate you coming so that we can shine the light on this wonderful effort that the township is pursuing to ensure the Spencerville Arena gets the upgrades it deserves. So fire away.
Awesome. Thank you very much for having us, Your Worship, and the rest of North Granville Council. It's great to be here today in front of you all, and just would like to talk a little bit more about hockey. And so, as you all know, or maybe people don't know that's watching, that the Spencerville Arena has put in a bid for Hockeyville for 2026. So we, just to give a little bit, I gotta keep my glasses on so I can see everybody and then take them off so I can read what's on here. So just bear with me. So Craft Hockeyville is a national competition that celebrates the spirit of hockey in communities across Canada. 2026 marks the 20th anniversary of Craft Hockeyville, and they've helped improve arenas across the country, and particularly with a focus on small towns and rural communities where rinks are gathering places. So right now, we're in what's called the nomination and rally phase. So that goes from January 1st till February 28th, March 1st, actually. And then after that, they'll review the submission and they'll choose a winner from each province. And then out of that, they'll choose a top 2 that go for the big prize. So the big prize is $250,000 in renovation money plus a preseason NHL game. And the runner-up receives $100,000. But if you are able to win the provincial award, that's $50,000. So that still goes a long way to help us at the Spencerville Arena. So to give a little bit of history on the Spencerville Arena, for more than 55 years, it's been a rink for families across Eastern Ontario. Built by community volunteers, it remains a place where children learn to skate, teams grow together, and neighbors gather. It's a cornerstone of rural life in Edwardsburg Cardinal. So we opened the arena in 1967, which was the celebration of Canada's centennial year. We can fit 500 people in the arena for spectators, and daily use will get about 500 on weeknights and up to 800 on Saturdays and Sundays. And 40 to 50 teams right now are currently using the arena and community organizations. So and North Granville being one, they've been a huge supporter of Spencerville Arena and just of the township in general. So we certainly appreciate that support. So we offer the youth hockey programs. We have men's and ladies recreational leagues. We do a lot of free public skating for the public and parent and tot and senior and adult. We let local schools use the arena for free during the season, and we also do community tournaments and events. So, but it's more than hockey. That's just in that arena. We use that for our world famous Spencerville Fair. We host a lot of stuff in there. We can do large scale dog shows. We do indoor pickleball in the summertime, and do a lot of summer camps and community gatherings. So multi-purpose is the highlight of this facility. So to share my own story, and it's not so much about Spencerville because I'm not from the area. I'm actually from Saskatoon. So I've only been in the area for about 3 years, 4 years. But growing up as a kid in Saskatoon, I played hockey growing up, and I always look forward to when you went to those tournaments in small towns where you had the community rink where everybody gets together, and the French fries and all those other things that are just really unique to the small town arenas. And what I love about the Spencerville rink, and I play hockey there every Friday. What I really like about that facility is it brings me back to that period of time. So I look at with the Spencerville Arena, and what we'd like to do is more preserve. I love playing hockey in any kind of arena. New arenas are great. Everything's accessible. Always lots of space, but there's just that certain charm of a small town rink, and that's what I think Spencerville has, and we'd really love to preserve that. So why we're competing for Craft Hockeyville? For us, it's more than a rink. It's where friendships are made, families gather, and hockey, small town hockey, comes alive. So after more than 5 decades of use, we do need some modernization to be accessible and sustainable. Craft Hockeyville funding would really help us make this gathering place more than a rink for generations to come. So right now, what we're asking for other municipalities and other organizations to do is just to share our story, and feel free to log on to Craft Hockeyville and post a story of your own. I know when we had our puck drop on January, this council was very well attended there, and we really appreciate that effort, and we just like to keep that momentum going. So right on the screen there is how to submit the story. So it's really 3 questions that you need to answer. And 1, tell us about your community spirit and its passion for hockey. Number 2, why is the Spencerville Arena important to you, your family, and your community? And 3, how would you use the $250,000 to upgrade and improve the arena? So there's 3 ways that you can get points during the rally phase. 1, obviously, is to do a story, what's up here, but you can also just even submit a picture. And picture gets you 3 points. A story gets you 10 points. And even if you just put a little note of support in there, that's still 1 point. And every point matters for us. So as of yesterday, we were at 51 stories on the website, which is awesome. And we're halfway through, which is great. 152 photos, which is amazing. What I saw some kids' teams do is every single person would take a picture and then upload it to the website. So it's 3 points for each picture that we do. And there were also 20 general notes of support, all for 1 point each, which was amazing. So what I'm going to leave behind is I'll leave some sheets for you all to put at the front as people come into the township office. And I also have a couple of Spencerville Bruins T-shirts I'd love to give to council. And again, if you could share this to social media and everything else, that would be lovely. But that is my delegation, and thank you for allowing me to speak, and I look forward to your questions. And I'm hoping to get a picture with the Spencerville shirt so we can submit 3 more points.
So I'll go to Councillor Wilson first, who I think has a long and storied history with that arena and some of its players.
Thank you for your presentation. I was thrilled to hear that you were going forward with this challenge. As a youngster growing up in this community in 1967, prior to 1967, our old arena, which the curling club is now on that site. So we did build a new arena on that site. The old arena looked like the old metal barn, and it fell in, it was condemned. So it was torn down. And while we were waiting for a new rink to be built, everybody had to hike down to Spencerville and play in Spencerville. So the Spencerville Arena was a home to Kemptville for many years. It still is. There were a lot of good hockey rivalries down there. The Kempville 73s, when they were established, played the Bruins, and it was the arena was packed to the rafters. You say there's seating for 500 in there. There were more than 500. It's the coldest arena in Eastern Ontario, but the best ice to skate on. Played many games there. So I would like to challenge anybody that grew up here in North Grenville that went down there and played in that rink to submit your stories. Because you say you only have 51, let's get more stories down to Spencerville. Okay, let's go.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions? Yes, Deputy Mayor?
Not a question, but I'd just like to thank you for the presentation and for acknowledging the heritage value. And I'd be curious to how you're going to preserve the look and feel of a small town rink. I mean, I grew up in small town rinks. And when the mayor and Councillor Wilson and I were down there a couple of weeks ago for some promotional photographs, etc., I just had to have a hot dog to relive a childhood memory. So I'd be curious to hear what the plans were, or how you plan to acknowledge if you get the 250, which I hope you do.
Oh, for sure. Thank
Yeah.
you very much, Deputy Mayor. I think it'll be a mixture of, if we won the big prize, certainly coldest rink, best ice. We want to make sure we keep that up. So I know our compressor room needs a little bit of TLC to preserve that excellent ice surface. And I think just to try and make it more comfortable for the fan experience that have to watch the kids, and naturally accessibility is a huge thing as well. So I think if you could make that building more accessible to all people, so it's more inclusive, I think that's money well spent too.
Great, thank you.
Yes, Councillor Sullivan.
Thank you for your presentation, and wish you all the best. And don't think that you're too small, because, hey, Kempville rallied around participation, and look where we got. So you can absolutely do this, and I'd like to contribute in any way I can. I don't have stories of that particular arena, except that my grandchildren now, who are members of the Royals and the Storm here, now they do play games and practice in Spencerville. So I've done the hike down to Spencerville too as a hockey grandma. I grew up in Metcalfe and hung around I was a rink rat in the old Metcalfe Arena, which was rebuilt, I don't know how many years ago now, and as known as the Larry Robinson Arena. And I went to school with Larry Robinson. So I enjoy hockey. I love watching my grandkids play, and I wish you all the best in this, and I will certainly do what I can to help you get there.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Councillor.
Councillor Strahan.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I'm not a hockey kid, and I didn't grow up in a hockey family. My kids don't play hockey, but I'm a huge fan of supporting local initiatives and seeing rural communities being able to improve the facilities that they have. So whatever keeps people local and bringing more people in, I'm all for it. So I wish you the best of luck and happy to support you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor.
Amazing. And certainly, I think we know that the Kempville District Minor Hockey Association is a huge supporter of this initiative, given that it rents approximately 30 hours, I think, of ice time at your arena, as do other leagues that are outside of your township or just don't serve your township, being both the Kings and Cyclones programs rent ice. But to Councillor Strahan's point, we know that this arena and the facility overall has served such a important role in the community, both winter and summer. And it's always great to hear Councillor Wilson's stories about the really close relationship the town of Kempville has had with this particular arena, effectively using it as its own arena for a number of years. So, you know, we're thrilled for you. We certainly want our community to get on board. And like Councillor Sullivan has said, is it the 20th anniversary of Craft Hockeyville or the 50th? So what's the
It's the 20th anniversary
20th, right.
of Craft Hockeyville.
Right. And I understand that this year in particular, the sort of top winner of every province will be awarded a special sum of money outside of the 250,000. Is that right?
I believe so. Yes, it's $50,000. So we're going to take that first step and try to win the province of Ontario, and carry that momentum
Yeah.
into the final round.
Right. Gotcha. So, and as Councillor Sullivan said, we competed for the title of Canada's most active community on the occasion of Participaction's 50th anniversary, and this was in 2021. And we were up against some big competition from larger centers where their capacity to communicate and rally their residents was impressive, but we ultimately prevailed. So I think our hope here is, given all of the history of that arena and the stories and the impact the arena has had across 5 different decades. Is that right? It's a 50-year-old arena or older?
Yes. 50.
50.
Yeah.
Then we certainly want to make sure that everybody's sharing their memories and their insights. So I understand from the website, if we do a video, it's 10 points, or how does it work again?
Thank you, Madam
Yeah.
Mayor. It is 10 points for a story. So that can be
story.
a video submission, or even just
narrative.
answering those 3. Yeah, or narrative.
Perfect.
So either one will get 10 points.
So that's a 10-point per submission. Is that what I understand?
That is correct.
So as a council, if we all commit to each doing a story, you get 50 points, right?
is
Coming out
correct.
of this particular interaction.
You betcha.
Okay. So I know we're going to do a photo. So you have some Bruins jerseys. I'll put on my daughter's Storm jersey, but I know Councillor Wilson has brought a jersey, but maybe we can spread the remaining T-shirts around for other council colleagues. Okay. And I know Ms. Boss will be more than happy to take a photo. Thank you. All right, back to business. So next, of course, I see that there are a number of items under the consent agenda. And that would be all of the advisory committee minutes that are presented here, as well as the landfill monitoring reports. And I think that's an item we expected to pull. So we'll take that off. So council colleagues, are there any minutes that you would like to see removed from the consent agenda? Okay, great. So with that, I'll look for a mover and a seconder then for the consent agenda. Councillor Strachan, Councillor Wilson, thank you. And I'll call the question. All in favor? All right, that passes. And then we do have the landfill monitoring reports. So if Mr. Finley wouldn't mind just giving us a quick run through on the reports, we would appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Finley.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So the report we have in front of council tonight is the annual landfill monitoring reports for 2024. Typically, these would come, this report would come in the fall of the previous year, so it would have come in fall of 2025. However, we weren't able to get it in front of council until now. But what it is an annual report based on the environmental monitoring requirements for the Kemptville, South Gore, Oxford Mills, and Birch Rapids waste disposal sites. So those are the 4 landfills that the municipality monitors and maintains. So a summary of that, and semi-annually, twice a year, spring and fall, we do surface water and groundwater sampling. Our consultant to do these things for us, as well as provide some analysis on those results. There's also a visual inspection of the site, and based on all that, some analysis is done and recommendations come out of these reports. We do note that we did issue a new contract for a consultant in 2025, and we did include the recommendations that were coming from this 2024 report in that project. So the items that are being identified have been encompassed in the monitoring and analysis moving forward from 2025 moving forward. Again, every year these reports are also sent to the Ministry of Environment, who provide some comments based on the trending they see as well. There's quite a list of each site and what's being analyzed and what's being determined at each site. But in general, the consensus is, of course, continue to monitor each site. There's some recommendations to abandon certain monitoring wells at a couple of the different sites, as well as install additional monitoring wells, depending on trends that are being identified at each site. Some of the sites had some damaged well casings, so there's some recommendations to replace those. And again, and some increased inspections as well. There's South Gore and a few sites that were only certain items were being reviewed on an annual basis. And the recommendation was to make them semi-annual inspections. So all those recommendations have been incorporated as we are moving forward. And that's the basis of the report. Again, it's for council's acceptance of them, or receipt of them, and then we will also have them public on our website if there's any questions from the public. So that is the basis of my report, but I'm happy to answer any questions council may have.
Thank you. Any questions, colleagues? Deputy Mayor?
Yes, thank you for that report, Director Finley. I note that the Kemptville landfill site was closed in 1997, and the other 3 were closed as landfill sites in 1999. How long are we obligated to monitor? Is it forever, or is there a certain period of time that we have to continue monitoring?
Thank you for the question, and through you, Madam Mayor. The ministry doesn't set a specific timeline. It's based on the results and analysis that they see. So if there's trends and any changes in either the surface water or groundwater monitoring, any exceedances that they identify in that water, they will continue to make adjustments potentially, there may be other remediation efforts made in terms of capping and things like that. So it is, I don't say perpetual, but it is till it's kind of a stabilized site, which is not a short process. So we do see it for the foreseeable future that we will continue to monitor all 4 of these sites.
And I'm sorry for this question, but and the cost of monitoring, do we get grants to offset the cost or?
Thank you for the question. We do not get, we don't have grants to continue to monitor sites. I don't have the exact costing, but I can get back to you on that. As we just did a new award back in 2025, so we do have some fresh monitoring numbers that I can provide to you. I just don't have them off the top of my head.
No, I didn't expect that. Sorry for the question, but yeah, I would be interested in finding out what the cost is. Thanks.
Councillor Sullivan?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you to Director Finley. I assume that maybe some or all of these landfill sites previously referred to as the dumps would have at time been set on fire and had regular burning of the waste that was placed there. Is that correct?
Thank you for the question through you, Madam Mayor. I don't have a record of that, so I can't speak to that
Okay.
from a historical basis.
Okay, because I understand that if they had been regularly burned, that the leaching is different and may have a longer term effect, but I'm not certain of that, so that's why I asked the question. Thank you.
I believe the CAO would like to jump in here.
Thank you, Your Worship. As long as I've been with North Grenville, and it's been a year or two, we have never had burning of waste at any of the sites on purpose. There have been, of course, the odd occasional fire. Typically, it's been in the brush pile area. We did burn brush on a regular basis prior to 2007, but around there we stopped, but it was segregated. It was not within the waste mound itself.
Okay, any questions on this side of the house? No? So my only question is, Mr. Finley, obviously this analysis is undertaken by an external team, and you noted that you've changed or engaged a different entity to support the implementation of the recommendations. Is that what I heard you say? And if I didn't hear you correctly, please rectify.
Thank you for the question, Madam Mayor. So we do typically issue these contracts as multi-year contracts. So 2024 was the end of the previous contracts. We had issued a new contract in 2025. It is actually the same consultant as previous. It's Aegis that is doing the monitoring. So it's a new contract, but it's the same contractor as our previous record. And just to get back to the cost from Deputy Mayor Barclay, we do, at least for 2026, there is $85,000 that are set aside for the monitoring piece. And then we have some costs on top that are for some of the wells that need to be installed and items like that. So the base monitoring analysis is $85,000 for all 4 sites. And then some works on top, cost for works on top.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, thank you for that information. Recently it's come to my attention that some of the faith groups and charitable groups in town are looking to maybe supply some additional firewood to people who are struggling. And I wondered, do we have a policy in terms of them, certain approved organizations coming in and picking up some of the untreated wood at the transfer station?
Thank you for the question, through you, Madam Mayor. Currently, the municipality doesn't have a policy on reuse of any brush in our brush depot. I do note that in our brush depot, it's typically allowed for brush, smaller size grass clippings, tree trimmings, not necessarily larger wood that would have potential substance for for potential firewood. We don't have the policy to separate that or segregate that. We have to be an operational item we look at. We don't have it right now.
Madam Mayor?
Sure.
The question that was about construction material, like untreated 2x4s and stuff. There's a lot of building happening in Kempville, and apparently construction companies and developers are bringing construction material to the site. So more than just brush, 2x4s, et cetera.
Okay, thank you for the question through you, Madam Mayor. So we don't separate construction material based on what we have right now is set as waste. So it does go through our main waste collection. We don't segregate it. Again, looking at where and how we would separate the two, ensuring what is being placed in that separated location is meant for burning would be something we'd have to be able to logistically manage and I'd put in some policies to be able to address that, as well as taking something from the transfer station, which we don't currently permit. So there would be some logistical items we'd have to look at.
Yeah, I think it's, and Mr. Finley, I know you were speaking to landfill monitoring, not our transfer station. So I think it might have been top of mind for Deputy Mayor to ask those questions, but perhaps at a different meeting, we could reflect on whether or not there's an opportunity to leverage some of the so-called waste wood that may be going into the transfer station. So thank you for reflecting on what we do currently and where there might be an opportunity to redirect some of the waste wood in particular, but recognize tonight we're speaking specifically about landfill monitoring, but we can work with the CEO and clerk to provide an opportunity to potentially come back with consideration of some opportunities to work with service organizations in the community. Okay, so anything else, colleagues, on the landfill monitoring reports? Obviously, I think we just pulled this from the consent agenda, so Mr. Finley, you'd have that opportunity to speak to what Aegis is reporting in terms of the monitoring. Clearly, these were longstanding landfill sites in the community and the other hamlets that were served by these landfills. So we know that the process of monitoring them is critically important, particularly given the amount of waste that would have gone to those landfills over many decades. So I know it's an important function in Public Works, and we appreciate the careful monitoring. And I presume that even with the change of hands, with Aegis being a new corporate entity that absorbed some smaller engineering companies, that you feel confident in the capacity of, I presume, the environmental engineers to actively engage in appropriate monitoring that aligns with the ministerial mandates. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Madam Mayor. There's because most municipalities do have similar waste sites that need to be monitored. There is some special groups that know what to look for, and it was a very competitive process. We feel that Aegis did provide the best recommendations or proposal for us to move forward with.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. If there are no other questions or comments, then I will look for a mover and a seconder for the following: that council receive report PW 2026-001-2024 landfill monitoring reports, including the 2024 environmental monitoring reports for the Kempville, South Gore, Oxford Mills, and Burts Rapids waste disposal sites for information purposes. Mover and seconder. Thank you, Councillor Wilson and Councillor Strachan. I'll call the question. All in favor? Great. Next, we're looking for a mover and a seconder for consideration of the minutes before you, which are December 16th, 2025 regular council meeting, and our previous meetings in January. Remarkably, we've had a lot, and we're not even through January. So January 12th, 2026 special council meeting, January 13th regular council meeting, and January 4th a special council meeting. Mover and a seconder, maybe on this side of the house. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Sullivan, any comments or questions in regards to the minutes? I'm not seeing any. I'll call the vote. All in favor? Thank you. That carries. Would any member like to pull an item of correspondence for discussion at the next meeting? In regards to the correspondence that's been listed here. I would just like to actually, Ms. Boss, the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus, of which I was a part when I was warden, and our county warden for Leeds and Grenville, Mayor Karina Smith-Gacky, has spoken a bit about the EOWC Champions Regional Priorities Program and partnerships, and I think that would be correspondence that would be valuable to discuss at the next meeting. The Wardens Caucus certainly brings together wardens from 13 different counties, and there is some really good work being undertaken and policy priorities identified. So I think it would be valuable for this council to better kind of understand the policy directions that are being pursued through the Eastern Ontario Wardens Caucus, and certainly our warden for the Leeds and Grenville is very much part of that process. So I'd look forward to bringing that correspondence forward during the next meeting. I'll move on. So next, notice of motions rather for consideration at this meeting. Councillor Strachan, you have highlighted a notice of motion here. So I don't know if you wish to read it or just have council review it as it's presented on the screen. Go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I won't read it. It's quite lengthy, but it is related to the automated speed enforcement, and I pulled it to allow for the discussion given the trajectory that North Grenville was on and whether or not we wanted to make a statement regarding the change in direction from the provincial government. I recognize that the timeliness of this has been lost because of the scheduling of the meetings in the holiday period. This was pulled on December 16th. We're now almost in February, so perhaps it is a moot point, but perhaps the discussion is also still worthwhile to take place, even if the notice of motion does not go forward. Thank you.
Thank you. If I could, I did, and I apologize I didn't get a chance to reach out to you, but the discussion would be the same at the council table as it would have been with you directly. I've asked Ms. Boss to bring forward a recent motion from the Police Services Board about asking the province to pursue financial support for the establishment of school bus cameras on school bus arms. As all of you know, there have been some close calls in North Grenville, and this past summer, we welcomed the Let's Remember Adam campaign. And the Let's Remember Adam campaign has highlighted what they see as a real opportunity for the province of Ontario to replicate what's happening in some other jurisdictions, both in Canada, including BC, more recently Newfoundland, and in the States, which is the installation of school bus arms, cameras rather, on school bus arms, to increase surveillance and the capacity for automatic ticketing of violators of school bus arms. So I wonder, Councillor Strachan and council colleagues, if we could reconsider this motion in the context of highlighting our concern with the, obviously, elimination of automated speed enforcement, but appeal to the province to consider establishing funding for some other enforcement mechanisms, including the establishment of, financial support to allow school bus companies, including STIO, which is the consortium here in Eastern Ontario, to move forward with the establishment of those cameras on school bus arms. That would allow us to express our concern to the province, but also point to an opportunity that I think could generate some momentum. And maybe, Ms. Boss, I know what was passed at the Police Services Board was subsequently shared by the Township of Merrickville-Wolford to other municipalities. Is that correct? Can you, I don't think I've seen the correspondence recently, so maybe you could remind us of what was shared by the Township of Merrickville-Wolford. Is your mic working?
If I could reach it. Thank you, through you, Mayor. There was a letter of support calling on the provincial government and the Ministry for Enhanced School Bus Safety and the implementation of stop arm camera systems. The letter of support was circulated to the Honorable Steve Clark, AMO, and to all Ontario municipality, the mailing list. And we did include a co-signing template for municipalities to use should they wish. And this will be placed on our next council meeting for the municipality of North Grenville Council to consider adding their name to the list of support for this initiative.
Yes, go ahead, Councillor Strachan.
I think perhaps to lend itself some weight, if the automated speed enforcement is not worth pursuing at this stage, or if the council and mayor is not interested in pursuing that, then perhaps we can put this one to rest and then consider your suggestion at the next meeting as a separate endeavor with maybe a footnote about automated speed enforcement if desired.
I'm certainly comfortable with that approach if other council colleagues are. I would note that the automated speed enforcement legislative framework created the opportunity for automated ticketing of vehicles that obviously transgress the school bus arms. So I think we can sort of highlight where moving forward there's an opportunity to leverage at least the legislative network or legislative framework. So if Ms. Boss is in a position to bring that back for our next council meeting, we could certainly consider that opportunity. And to your point, Councillor Strachan, really highlight that it's regrettable that speed enforcement isn't obviously on the table anymore, but look to the province to show some leadership in this area. Are we good?
I have a question regarding the notice of motion that I assume is being withdrawn since it wasn't seconded. As Councillor Strachan stated, we went pretty far down the line in terms of developing or considering ASC, specifically on concession school safety zones. And, part of this notice of motion that we're not debating, talks about inadequate consultation and sudden decision. Are we entitled to any kind of compensation for the expense that we've made going down that road? Do we know?
I guess the question was, what was expended other than staff time? Did we expend any resources in the initial formulation of the contract? I would assume Ms. Dunlop can speak to that.
Thank you, Your Worship. Yes, there was some considerable amount of staff time. There was some consultant work in regards to the creation of the AMP process, which would support the installation of ASE. There was some minor consultant actual cash outlay. Very minimal, though.
Fairly minimal is what I'm hearing? Okay. So I think to your point, Deputy Mayor, what's become evident is that the province has certainly offered and established a fund that's available to municipalities where ASC was in full operation, but not for municipalities that were on the verge of going down that path. So that fund was established before the holidays and is already being availed of by those municipalities that had come to rely fairly significantly on revenues generated by ASC, automated speed enforcement. So I don't think the municipality is in a position to recoup costs, but I do think there is an opportunity for a pivot in terms of how we look here in North Grenville to model a different kind of automated enforcement when it comes to some of our most vulnerable residents and families, and that being kids on school buses. Sure.
Yeah, just to follow up. So that the compensation, there were strings attached, as I understand, that it would have to be used
Yes.
on
Traffic calming.
traffic calming. So we can't avail ourselves of any of that funding.
We didn't generate any revenue from the automated speed enforcement. We were obviously poised to go down that path, but there was no revenue lost from the actual ticketing program. And what the province put into place was to compensate communities, municipalities in particular, that were obviously generating significant amounts of revenue.
Okay.
We have certainly, through the discussions that have taken place at the Police Services Board, said we, as part of any future proposals to the province, we would like to highlight that funds for things like traffic calming would be ideally available to all communities, not just those that were using automated speed enforcement. So again, that could be part of a subsequent discussion. Okay, if we're good, we'll then move on. Colleagues, this is a speedy meeting, you'll note. So I'll look to any notice of motions for consideration at a future meeting of council. Is there any notices of motion? I'm proposing, I guess, that Ms. Boss, that you'll bring back as a notice of motion what has been discussed and adopted at the Police Services Board so that we can consider this at this table. Okay. Does that serve as a notice of motion? Okay. Are there any others? All right. Moving on, petitions and written communications from the public. I don't think we have any this evening. Miscellaneous and unfinished business, none. We thank our remaining 2 members of the public for being here. Happy New Year. Nice to see you again. Any questions? Okay, thank you. So we'll go to confirmation bylaw. I'm looking for a mover and a seconder for confirmation, and that is that the confirmation bylaw is attached to this agenda be read a first, second, and third time all at once, it seems, and finally passed in open council. Ms. Boss, perhaps, again, you can just, for the edification of anyone watching, how do we read a first, second, and third time all at once in terms of a confirmation bylaw?
Thank you. Through you, Mayor. Again, not to bore you all with the history lesson on procedural matters, but previous to technology where bylaws were printed in full and given out in 3 to 5 business days in advance, it was often a practice that they were read in their entirety 3 full times before being passed and enacted. As we modernize and print the agendas in their entirety, it has been adopted that you can give first, second, and third reading all at once and enact it on the night that it is considered.
Remarkable. A mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Strachan and Wilson, thank you. I'll call the question. All in favor? It carries. And then adjournment, I'll look to my right. Councillor Sullivan, Deputy Mayor. We are adjourning at a remarkable 7:41. Don't get used to it. I'll call the question. All in favor?